I want to thank you all for having me here today. I'm sorry if I'm not going to be touching anyone's hands, and you will see me escape as fast as possible. Everyone now is living like their families have CF and away from germs. And also, thank you for having me come all the way from Pittsburgh. I know there's some sort of like rivalry since I moved to the state of Pennsylvania amongst our two cities, but I'm glad to be here. I have just a few moments to spend with you all today, and you guys have a really action-packed day. So I am kind of the pump-up for your whole day, the why of why you're here. And I'm going to just speak for a few moments and hopefully encourage you to set about your mission. But then also, I just want to let you know, we are going to have a Q&A time, about 10 to 15 minutes. So if you do have questions, save them for the end, okay? And that's always my favorite part. So when my first son was born, I remember thinking, and almost slightly panicking a little bit, about what his future would hold. I was an overachiever in high school and in college. I was valedictorian. I got a scholarship to college. I was, the top person in my class in college. And I remember thinking when I was pregnant with my first child, my son Gunnar, what kind of life would Gunnar live? What kind of, academic career would he have? Would he get good grades like me? Would he like school like me, or would he hate school? How would I handle that if my son hated school? Because I love school. Would he like history like me? Would he like science? Would he like math? What kind of job would he want to have when he grew up? Would he get a full ride to college so I wouldn't have to save so much up for college? I remember thinking all of these things about my child and what his future life was going to be, and almost panicking about things that really, I found out, weren't that important. 3 months after Gunnar was born, I got a call from his doctor who called to tell me that he had tested positive for cystic fibrosis. Does anybody know what CF is? CF is a genetic disease. It's often life-threatening. The average lifespan for someone in America today with CF is about 37. It essentially makes all the mucus in your body very sticky. And so you get bacteria that colonizes, and most CF patients die of lung failure, the inability to breathe. When I first heard this news that my son had tested positive for CF, all of those panics I had about his future career and what kind of grades he would make in high school, what kind of career he would choose, all of that was gone. I no longer cared. And to be honest with you, I still no longer care what his GPA is. I don't care what he's going to go to college to study. It doesn't even worry me. Because my mission changed in that moment. My mission changed to make sure not only would Gunnar, have this career, that he would get to college and, get this scholarship. My mission changed that he would survive it, that he would actually live to seek his college years. He would live to see post-college. My mission became to help ensure that his life would be as long as possible on this earth. And while Gunnar and now my fourth child, Gracie, while they both have cystic fibrosis, today they're healthy, they're receiving the best health care in what is the best health care system in the world, I haven't lost sight of the mission. That even though they're healthy today, tomorrow things may change, and they may change rapidly. And what I've learned over the last 11 years since becoming Gunnar's mom has made some things very clear for me. The first is that our lives, your life, is a mere millisecond in the history of the world. And while your days and classes may drag on and on and on, your lives, all of our lives, are short, very, very short. And for many of us, they will come to an abrupt end. The second thing I've learned since being Gunner's mom is that this life that I always envisioned for Gunner, this life of success, what I thought would be success, isn't what success is. Your GPA, where you choose to go to college, the career you have, while those things can bring you some happiness, that's not ultimate happiness. That's not ultimate success. Your life that's well lived is not going to be determined by the number of decades your life is going to span. The determining factor of whether or not you live a life that's well lived is going to be the legacy you leave behind. It's going to be what you did while you were here in that very short amount of time. That's going to be the difference between a life that's lived and a life that is well lived. And the life that I live, and hopefully that I will inspire my children to live, is one of purpose. To have that well-lived life. Because I know I was made for mission. And I actually have several missions. One's a little funny. My mission is to make sure every single person always uses the Oxford comma. Do you know what the Oxford comma is? Thank you. It's in lists. It's the list comma. Make sure you use it. That's one of my missions in life, and trust me, it is a mission. And I have a very enthusiastic supporter over there. All your English teachers will agree. But that's kind of a funny mission. My other mission, my serious missions, are threefold. One, and I hope it's one that we all share, and that's to spread the love and truth of our Savior to our family, our friends, and to everybody we come in contact with. That's like our number one mission, by the way. My other mission is to make sure that my children, all of my children, leave a legacy on this earth that's greater than mine, that they understand that they have infinite worth, not because of what they'll accomplish or what they do, but because of simply who they are. Just like you, they have an infinite worth and value. I want them to know love, joy, peace, and happiness. My other serious mission, that third mission, is the reason I'm here today. It's to end the injustice and the violence that happens every single day, about 2,600 times a day, inside of Planned Parenthoods and abortion facilities across the country. To end the injustice of abortion. And this is a mission. This is the mission that I need you to join me in. In fact, I desperately need you to join me in this mission. I need your devotion to this mission. Because this is a mission to abolish abortion that's vast, it's great. And despite what your fears may be, or what you think might be your weaknesses or your inadequacies, it's a mission that is truly worth fighting for. It's a mission that I guarantee you will render your life, no matter how long or short your life may be, it will render your life a life that is well lived. It's going to transform your life. And I have to tell you, being at the March for Life, when I was standing there and amidst of hundreds of thousands of people, giving everyone high fives and waving, cheering everybody on, when I was at the March for Life this January in Washington, D.C., it proved to me, it proved very clearly that momentum is on our side, that we are this pro-life generation. And this year in 2020 is a year that we can make history. This year, I actually believe we are closer than ever before to achieving our mission of making Roe versus Wade and Doe versus Bolton Those are the two Supreme Court decisions that were handed down in 1973 by 7 men, by the way, because everyone always says men can't have an opinion on abortion, except if you're pro-abortion. 7 men handed down Roe v. Wade and Doe versus Bolton and legalized abortion in all 9 months of pregnancy for whatever reason. In 2020, we are closer than ever before to seeing those decisions become reversed, to sending the decision of abortion back to state capitals, where legislators can decide, where you can actually have an impact, where you can show up in Harrisburg and prove to these legislators, these elected officials, that we are the pro-life generation. We are closer than ever before to reversing Roe, sending the decision of abortion back to the states, and then working to make abortion unthinkable in our communities, and our parishes, and in our schools. Because let's be very clear, our mission in the pro-life movement, your mission, isn't just to make abortion illegal. It's also to make abortion unthinkable. It's both. We have to do both. And we are closer than ever before to accomplishing this mission, to making sure that no woman ever again feels like she has to choose between the life of her child and her education and her career. We are closer than ever before to make sure that no woman ever feels like aborting her child, that paying someone to dismember another member of our human species with tools like this is a choice. No woman should ever feel like this is a celebrated choice, or this is a celebrated option, or that this is empowerment. Never, never again. And that's why I'm here. That's why Liana is here. That's why we do what we do at Students for Life, because we know we can be history makers. The history of the United States, the history of the world proves to us when young people get involved, when young people stand up for human rights and refuse to be silent, things change. But we will only achieve our mission if you are all in. If you are all in. Only if we use the nanosecond of time we have today to recommit ourselves to this mission of abolishing abortion. To recommit ourselves to doing more than we've ever done before, more than we thought capable we could do. Because I have to be honest with you, this mission is not going to be without sacrifice. It's not going to be without hard work. For those who advocate for legal violence against members of our own species, those who advocate for the violence of abortion, they're more determined than ever. They are more determined than ever. Just last week, I was out at the Supreme Court of the United States. The Supreme Court was hearing what is the first abortion-related case since President Trump's 2 Supreme Court judges have been confirmed. We were out there last week. And I have to tell you, those who advocate for abortion violence are committed. We were out there. Students for Life camped out overnight and reserved all the space because apparently all the national leaders of the pro-life movement didn't want to spend the night outside, in March. But we were there. We did it. The Pro-Life Gen did it. We reserved our rally space. We used students from across the country to be human shields so we can have a press conference and the media could cover all of the speakers and all of the leaders. But you should have heard the chants on the other side. You should have seen the faces of the women who came up to scream at us. The one woman who had earrings of an alligator eating a human child. No joke. You should have seen their signs, the rhetoric, the messaging they were using. You should have seen the Hollywood star, Busy Phillips, who got up on stage and thanked abortion for the reason she had her hybrid car, who credited abortion for her lucrative career, who said basically the opposite of feminism, that the only reason she was standing there, the only reason she had received all these accolades, the only reason she had amassed this great pile of cash is because she paid somebody else to dismember her child, to kill, to end the life of another human being. You should have been there with us last week at the Supreme Court, or with us at Cal Poly University 2 weeks ago when I was there, when a mob of pro-abortion students came up in a literal parade to protest against me. Or with our Students for Life leaders at Whatcom Community College this weekend when they were praying in front of the Planned Parenthood, when someone came by and threw liquid on them that they had to call EMTs to come wash off of them and test. And a woman drove up chanting, "Hail Satan." We have it on video. Always film. They are more determined than ever before. And honestly, friends, they've kind of lost their minds. They've lost their minds a little bit. But why? Why are they acting so crazy? When people act crazy, I always ask, why? Why are they screaming and shouting at me? Why are they cursing at me? Why are they throwing vials of unknown liquid onto our students? Why are they doing this? Men and women, the very simple answer is they are afraid. They are terrified that the day we know is coming is near. That Roe versus Wade, Doe versus Bolton, those two Supreme Court decisions will soon be reversed. They fear that abortion is no longer going to be a legal option, is no longer going to be a celebrated option. And that terrifies them. Why? Why? Because many of them have been party to an abortion. Because they have had an abortion. That's why we always must have compassion and love for those people who come up and shout at us, who may act ridiculous, who might hold those nasty signs or chant those crazy chants. Because many of them have been part of an abortion decision. And their fear is that gut instinct they had when they went into that Planned Parenthood clinic, that gut feeling they had that this is not okay, but that gut feeling that they suppressed, right? Because the abortion lobby told them, it's okay. Promise you, it's nothing. It's just a blob of tissue. That gut feeling they had to suppress. When we say abortion should be illegal, when we say abortion should be unthinkable, when we say our mission is to abolish abortion, it scares them. Because they know they're going to have to deal with that decision they made. The other reason they're acting unhinged, why there's more threats of violence, why we've seen more vandalism of our pro-life displays in college campuses, why now I have to take security guards to college campuses when I speak, is because they know when that day comes, when abortion is no longer a legal option, they may have to choose to live their life a little differently, right? Because shock, when two heterosexuals engage in sexual activity, guess what? You may create a unique, whole, living human being. And if abortion is no longer an option, you may have to reconsider your relationship status with that person. That's why they're upset. That is why they're acting unhinged. And let me just warn you now, it's going to get worse. As we run up to the election in November, it's going to get worse. They will become more unhinged. What they say, the rhetoric they use, the attempted vandalizations and the violence, it's going to get worse before it gets better. So I've given you fair warning. I need you in this mission. I need you in this mission more than ever before, because just the fact that we have momentum, that the majority of our generation rejects the violence of abortion, because hundreds of thousands of us can turn out at the March for Life every January in Washington, D.C., because we've had more than 500 laws passed in state capitals that protect children and mothers from abortion, because of all of these amazing things that have happened, this momentum we've seen, evil is not just going to step away. It's just not going to stop. I need you to shine your light. What happens when you guys enter a dark room? Right? When it's dark, you can't see anything. I take my phone out. I scramble for a few seconds to find my flashlight on my phone. Once I remember how to put my flashlight on my phone, I'm okay, right? The room lights up. Why? Because when I bring my light into a dark room, darkness has no place but to flee. It can't go anywhere else. Darkness must leave that room. That is what you do when you speak truth about abortion. That is what you do when you post online on Instagram or Snapchat or TikTok about abortion. I hate TikTok, let me just tell you. I can't do TikTok. If someone wants to give me a tutorial, I'd be more than happy, accept it. When you guys post about abortion, when you talk about abortion, you are shining the light of truth. And guess what? You don't even have to be the most well-spoken pro-life advocate there ever was. I'm certainly not. I learn new things all the time. I watch a video of myself and I'm like, you idiot, what were you thinking, Kristen? You missed this opportunity to say this, this, and this. I'm always trying to improve how I speak to people. I'm always trying to prove how I can change minds. But the fact is, I can change lives, I can save lives simply by being willing to be that light. Being willing to go into the darkness. And men and women, that's what I need you to do today. I need you to take whatever fear you have and let it go. Whatever thing that is holding you back from joining the pro-life movement, you have to let it go. Because guess what? Fear doesn't come from our Creator. Fear does not come from our Creator. It comes from evil. And evil uses your fear, your insecurity. If I can't say this, I'm only 15. Or I can't talk about abortion because my parents get mad. Or I can't join the pro-life group, the Respect Life group, because I'm trying to apply to Harvard. You can't let your fear stop you any longer. Because lives are literally depending on you. In fact, there's 2,600 lives today that are depending on you. I've known since the very first week where I started volunteering at a pregnancy resource center, meeting women who were coming into the center thinking that abortion was their only option, who had been betrayed over and over again by the abortion industry, who had lied to her and told her that somehow the abortion was going to stop the cycle of poverty she was living in, that lied to her and told her that everything's going to be okay after the abortion, even when you go back to the abusive partner, who lied to her and told her that abortion was somehow going to change the course of her life for the better. I've known from the very first week when I was 15 years old that this is my mission. that this is what I'm called to do, that I have to see justice prevail in my lifetime. So for you, the person sitting here today who's kind of, yeah, abortion's bad, but what can I do about it? I don't like abortion, but I shouldn't really talk about abortion. It makes people uncomfortable. Or I can't talk about abortion because I'm a man. I hate that one. For those of you here today who are like, just another pro-life speaker at this Catholic school. My parents told me to ignore all this junk. Some of you laughed. I know the conversations that go home at home. For those of you who are here, who are kind of on the fence about joining the pro-life movement, about joining the greatest human rights movement in our world today, I want to ask you to reconsider. I want to ask you to reconsider your beliefs and your reasons for why you stay quiet, for why you are silent on this issue. I want you to reconsider that. I want you to think about today, as you listen to all the speakers, what's going to render your life well lived? Not lived, well lived. What's going to ensure that whenever you leave this earth, you will have left a legacy of lives saved, of people served, of joy and hope and compassion spread? How can you do that? Reconsider what is holding you back. What's stopping you? What's stopping you from joining this movement? And I can guarantee you one thing, guys. I'm a pretty competitive person. Probably the most competitive person I know. I'm not just fighting this battle, fighting it because I'm Catholic, fighting it because I know I'm right. I'm winning it because we're winning it. And we will prevail. We will see justice restored in our lifetime. I'm 100% convinced we will look back soon, and our children, instead of just going to the March for Life every year, we might still have a March for Life to celebrate, but instead of just going to a Holocaust museum, we will also be going to the abortion museum. We will also start to say, how? Why? Why did our country ever permit this? That's going to happen in our lifetime. Our children are going to ask us that question. Mom, how could anyone ever think killing a baby was okay? And we're going to be able to answer that question and say, guess what? We didn't. And that's why we did something about it. So I hope today you'll join me and you'll reconsider your reasons for why you don't get involved and become a history maker. All right. I have 10 minutes for questions. Father John has a microphone. I don't know where he... Oh, Lucas has a microphone. So if you have a question, we're going to do this quickly, and I'm going to try to do this as fast as possible to answer as many questions. If you have a question about abortion, if you've ever heard a reason for why abortion should be acceptable or legal, and you don't know how to answer the question, raise your hand, and I will try to answer your question as fast as possible. And then we're going to make a little special presentation. Something big just happened. You don't know about it. All right. Go to Lucas.
My name's Aaron. Let's say the mom, right? She ain't like in a good financial position to have a child, right? Because like I know moms that haven't like been in a good financial position to have a child, like because they had a child, they can't really like live the good life that they could have. You know what I mean? So like, what them?
Sure. Thank you for asking that question. Okay, so I get this question a lot. I think that's a very valid question. What about a mom who can't afford to support her child? How can you say that she can't choose abortion when having another child is another mouth to feed, is another person she has to support? I think the way we need to look at this is ask ourselves this question. Usually when that scenario comes, and the women I've met who have been in a situation of poverty, the question you have to ask yourself is, let's say she already has a child. Let's say she has a 4-year-old child. Maybe she has a 1-year-old child and she's pregnant, okay? Why would you abort the newborn? Because if you actually look at the math on it, why shouldn't she be able to she should just kill the 4-year-old, shouldn't she? Because the 4-year-old actually costs a lot more money than a newborn. The 4-year-old needs daycare. The 4-year-old needs to be fed. The 4-year-old, as a mom, I know, the older they get, the more they cost. Why would I say that? Do you go like this? Why does that make you feel uncomfortable? Shout it out. Why is killing a 4-year-old make you uncomfortable? Oh, why is it bad? I'm sorry, why is it bad? Oh, why is it murder? Why is it murder? Let me answer the question for you. It's murder because killing a 4-year-old kills a unique, whole, living human being. And guess what abortion does? Abortion kills a unique, whole, living being. And I understand. Keep quiet. I understand. And I've met many women who are living in poverty and cannot escape the cycle of poverty. But I can guarantee you, killing another human being is never going to be the solution to escaping poverty. And there are resources. There's pregnancy resource centers. In fact, there's over 2,500 pregnancy resource centers. There's fewer than 600 abortion facilities. We have 8,000 federally qualified health centers. We have adoption agencies, maternity homes. We've set up a support system so no woman should ever feel like she has to choose between feeding herself and her other children and the life of a unique, whole, living human being. We have that support system. And that support system's already in place. But you know what's not in place? And where we need to do a better job is marketing those resources. Telling her there is another way, there is another option, and there are people who love and support her. But killing the 4-year-old is the exact same as killing the infant in the womb. Because they are both unique, whole, living human beings. Next question.
Hi, my name is Rakai. So say if there was like a kid that was young, maybe 12, and they got raped and ended up getting pregnant, and the parents wasn't financially stable to take care of that kid, would you still be against abortion?
Yes. Yes. Your circumstance of conception, no matter how tragic or no matter how violent the circumstance of your conception may be, does not change your dignity. It does not change your value. If my father goes out tonight and rapes a woman or commits an act of violence, if my father does that, is it justifiable to kill me? Would anyone say it's justifiable to take my life? No. Because I wasn't responsible for the actions of my father. So killing a human being is never a viable option. When a woman is raped, no matter how young she may be, we must be willing, excuse me, I'm answering the question. When a woman is raped, no matter how young she may be, we must be willing to do every single thing possible to support her, to offer resources for her, to do every single thing we can. We have to. And that's what we do. But there's one thing I won't do, and that's kill for her. Next question. Okay.
So, you guys talk about abortion, right? But one thing I don't hear about is what do you do after you don't have the abortion? Like, you guys have plans. Like, now as you came, you're talking about abortion, right? But I didn't hear you talking about like a plan, like a step. So, do you guys promote adoption? Do you have like a program set up for that?
Yeah, actually, Students for Life America has a program called Pregnant on Campus. So we're actually transforming college campuses and high school campuses to change how they support pregnant and parenting women. We actually change college campuses to make sure that a woman who's pregnant doesn't feel like she has to drop out of school or get kicked out of her dorms, that she has access to scholarships and housing and parking and flexible class schedules. That's another part of what Students for Life does, because our mission on campuses is twofold. It's to warn you about the lies of the abortion industry, and it's also to support her when she's in the moment of crisis, because we know simply saying abortion is wrong, we know saying abortion should be illegal and working to make abortion illegal is not going to end every crisis pregnancy in our country. And so our goal is always make abortion illegal and make abortion unthinkable. And it is, in fact, the pro-life movement that operates 2,600 pregnancy centers across the country. It is the fact pro-lifers who run all the adoption agencies and the maternity homes across the country. It is pro-lifers who are every single day advocating for resources. You can walk into any one of the 2,600 pregnancy resource centers across the country, and by the way, you can find that information at optionline.org. You can walk into any single pregnancy resource center across the country, and you can tell the women there what it is you need, what support you need, what material resources you need, and their job is to make sure whatever need you have is fulfilled. If you walk into a Planned Parenthood abortion facility pregnant, I have done it multiple times. If you walk into an abortion facility pregnant and you tell them you have a financial need, if you're living in an abusive relationship, if you're stuck in poverty, guess what they sell you? An abortion. That's what you get at Planned Parenthood. In fact, when I went into Planned Parenthood multiple times when I was pregnant, they wouldn't even give me a referral to an OBGYN. They wouldn't even tell me what prenatal vitamins I should take. Planned Parenthood and the abortion industry are just that. Friends, they are an industry. They actually gross $2 billion a year. They receive $600 million of our taxpayer dollars. They get taxpayer money, yes. And there's a direct correlation with the amount of taxpayer money they get and the number of abortions they commit. The number of tax dollars they get does not lower their abortion numbers, despite their rhetoric. In fact, you can look at the measurements. In the year 2000, Planned Parenthood was receiving about $100 million in taxpayer funds. They committed 150,000 abortions. Last year, they committed 340,000 abortions, a third of all abortions in our country, and they received over 600 million taxpayer funds. The more tax dollars Planned Parenthood gets, the fewer birth control services and preventative, quote unquote, good services they can provide. And you don't have to trust me. You can go to Planned Parenthood and print off their annual reports. All right, those are the last questions, but I think I answered most of the gist. We're going to do something really special right now. If you have other questions, Liana will be here speaking today, so make sure you ask them of Liana, okay? Or you can always find me online. Okay, so we're going to do something really special right now. What you all do not know is that while you were sitting here today, while you were here listening to me kind of hopefully pump you up and get you excited to end abortion, getting you ready for your day, while you were here, we trained Students for Life of America 100,000 students today. And in fact, that 100,000 student is in the room. That's a pretty sniffing accomplishment, I think. Because now we know there's 100,000 young people my age and younger, who know the truth about abortion, who know the truth about the abortion industry. So I need to actually call up that 100,000 student. We were counting people when they were walking in the room today. And so I'd like to call up Sky McNamee from St. Hubert's Bambies for Life. Sky is a junior at St. Hubert's. So hi. Here, elbow bump. I'm not like touching anyone. All right. So I want to just let you know, Sky. Do you want to film this? Hold on, Kevin's going to film.
Okay.
We're going to put it on Instagram. So while we were training today and you entered in, you were 100,000, number 100,000. So you are the 100,000th student that we've trained at Students for Life of America. So you didn't know you had this awesome honor sitting here today. So Sky is a junior at St. Hubert's Bambies for Life. St. Hubert's Bambies for Life is very active at the local pregnancy resource center, supporting women, right, who are coming in crisis, looking for help, trying to find another way. St. Hubert's was at the March for Life this year at the National Pro-Life Summit. And what's really cool, I found out, is Sky wants to go to college to be an OBGYN. So, since you're the 100,000th student ever trained by Students for Life, number 100,000 of the pro-life gen, we have a couple of special things we want to give you. So first, I'm going to give you my pin. So this is my pin. These are the size of the feet of a child in the womb at 10 to 11 weeks after conception. So, where you want to put it? Are you allowed? There you go. I'm like shaking. It's like, did I pronounce your name right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and then the other thing we want to give Sky is a Pro-Life Gen t-shirt, because you have to be a member of the Pro-Life Gen. So there you go. That's easy. And then the other thing is you get a lifetime free admission to the Students for Life of America National Conference or the National Pro-Life Summit. So every year when you go to DC, you are free forever until you're 90, whatever. So free admission. All right, so we're going to do a quick video. Like, do you just want to just do a chant? Yep. All right, so we're going to do a chant. He's filming. We might as well do it. So I'm going to turn around, and we're going to face the camera. I'm going to tell the camera what we just did, and then we're going to chant, "We are the pro-life." When I say "We are the pro-life generation," they're going to say "We are the pro-life generation." Can you do that? Yes? Okay. All right, okay. All right, hold on for 1 second. All right. Matt, I said it right?
Yeah.
All right, let's make sure I said it right. All right, hi, everyone. It's Kristen. I'm at Cardinal O'Hara High School in Philadelphia. This is Sky McNamee. She is our 100,000th student